All right, welcome everyone. Let me just verify if everyone can hear me. Yes, we are having technical difficulties. Karyn or Cristina, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Phil, so I think we're good.
Okay.
I
Yes,
feel like
so
this is Christina.
Hey, Cristina.
correct. And Karen, can you hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful.
All right. People were saying wonderful sarcastically. We do apologize. There was a WebEx update that kind of shut everything all over the place here, but we will continue. Apologize for the inconvenience. We are 5 minutes after the hour, but we should be able to get everything going and taken care of. I will start the video now. Excuse me, the recording. This will be sent out to all attendees, and if you have questions during here, feel free to post those questions into the chat. Just make it to everyone so we all can read everything, and we're not duplicating questions. And I will start the recording and get started here. Once again, apologize for the inconvenience of the late start. All right, welcome everyone. This is our webinar with the focus on the 2025 California codes and the digital codes premium software. My name is Phil Anthony. I am with ICC as a digital code solution specialist. We have a couple guests here that will also be talking. Cristina LoVerde from our general code division, and Karyn Beebe, who is our California government relations representative. Cristina, I'm going to take the time to pull up the slides. Go ahead and introduce yourself, turn it over to Karyn, and then Karyn, by that time, you'll be able to start with your opening, okay?
Sure. Thanks, Phil. Again, Phil said, my name is Cristina LoVerde. I'm the Vice President of Client Engagement for General Code, a subsidiary of ICC for the last 8 years. And I work a fair amount with ICC on a lot of different ventures, but the ones I'm going to focus on today is our reseller agreement with Archistar and custom services for ICOs. So I'll be covering that later on in the hour.
Appreciate it. Cristina and Karyn, you can see the start of the slides, right?
No, right now I'm looking at,
Excellent.
it looks like the web page, but
Yep.
while you're playing around with that, I'll just say good afternoon. My name is Karyn Beebe. I'm delighted to be here, even with the technical challenges we're having with our update of WebEx, and I am your local, depending on where you live in California, government relations regional manager for the state. I'm based in Southern California. I'm a licensed professional engineer and a lead accredited professional, but my job really is to be a resource to all building safety professionals throughout the state of California when you need assistance with your codes, code changes, your certifications, trainings, whatnot, anything that the ICC has to offer, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. So I do see now the title slide. So excellent. And Phil, I think if you want to advance to the next slide.
Yep, will do. You just tell me and we'll go through this and we'll segue into everything. Go ahead.
Excellent. So we have the agenda here for you. We had already just gone through our welcome and introductions. I'll give a couple of notes on our ICC government relations update, but really the focus today is to talk about our 2025 California Code update, as well as how to navigate that best and most effectively using our various tools. So there's 3 of us here today, as well as Joram, who's also in the background answering questions as I see as things go by. We'll just go ahead and march through, but please don't hesitate to throw questions in the chat and we'll make this as interactive as possible. So again, this slide just shows who I am and how to contact me. If you lose track of this information on our website, iccsafe.org, there is a wheel. Underneath the wheel is the adopt button. And so that adopt button takes you to the government relations team page. And my contact information is there at the very bottom of the page. We have a monthly newsletter. I send the newsletter out to anyone who would like to be on my friends list. So if you want to be added, please shoot me an email, ask me to add you to the list, or you can find it on the website. It's a handful of pages each month, and it has different news items for the building safety professionals around the world. So you can skim it and really dig deeper into the topics that are of interest to you, and it has hyperlinks throughout to either places on our website or partners. Next slide. Couple of quick legislation updates that are relevant to code updates as well. So AB 306, the evolution, what has happened to that? This has been a piece of legislation that really caught our attention, and not in a positive way. We were very concerned when it first was drafted. It was very abstract. It talked about halting residential code updates in California for 6 years. So we quickly created a coalition in opposition. And so if you're looking at the slide, you can see that list of logos provided for you of organizations throughout the state and national associations as well. Many of our chapters throughout the state also came together to oppose this through letters of opposition. And so the good news is we did make some progress, that the bill was amended in this Senate, and it protected the triennial process. So we are going in California to continue to update each 3 years, as we always have. And so that's remarkable. It's been wonderful that our state has stayed at the forefront of staying up to date with code changes, because we know technology keeps marching forward, and we're learned from how to make the code read better and be more effective. So we don't want to fall behind in that regard. Unfortunately, there are restrictions on local amendments. So in June, the language of the bill was lifted out of AB 306, placed into a trailer budget bill, AB 130, and it was signed into law on June 30th. And what the language says at the very base of this slide, and again, Phil said we'll be sharing these slides so you can look back at that later, essentially is that from October of this year through June 1st of 2031, amendments at the local level are not allowed, residentially speaking, unless they have already been filed and effective by this September 30th, or if they are related to home hardening, wildfire mitigation, or in times of declared emergency. So the Building Standards Commission is working on additional guidance on what that's going to look like. And so again, the first and foremost, thank you all for who was able to come together in opposition to get to this improved bill. And then as far as the local amendments, we'll continue to keep you informed as we learn more. Next slide. From the state level to a federal piece of legislation is the Passing the Pro Codes Act. This is HR 4072. And this essentially is copyright protection. Again, very effective, timely, related to the topic today, as we need to protect our codes. And so the code development process is not written by ICC. We just manage and create this transparent process for all building safety professionals to be able to submit code changes, to travel, to testify in person and through electronic means, to create the most effective and cutting edge model codes each time moving forward. And so we need your help in being able to keep those copyrights in place. And this isn't just for ICC, this is for all standards developing organizations. As you can see from the slide, this is being supported by both sides of the aisle, both sides of the country, and it's going to protect that copyright for all standards developing organizations, as you see on the next slide. It's a broad group, not just ICC. We see IATMO, NFPA, UL, and others that you likely utilize these resources as well as the codes. So what you can do to help, next slide, is permission to please take out your smartphone if you haven't already, and to snap this QR code. This QR code will take you to an opportunity to do a quick email. And the email has already been created. You put in your address, it'll identify who your congressperson is that you want to email, and then you can modify the letter of the language to make it sound exactly as you want. So grab this QR, get it now, or refer back to it in the recording, and we would love your support. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and now pass the mic back to Phil, and maybe you'll hear from me again at the end, but thank you all for being here today.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Karyn. I don't know if maybe you want to comment a little bit on these next, well, actually this slide here with the print versions. I'm going to cover the digital, but if you want to speak to it, or is that later on?
I think there's a couple slides at the end, so go ahead, Bill.
Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. We are now progressing smoothly through this. So as mentioned, I work with the digital codes, premium subscriptions and licenses with ICC. And I assume most of you are probably familiar with it. The website at codes.iccsafe.org does allow you to view both the I-codes and the California amended codes without having a license. When you actually have a premium license, this is what will open up the features that we're going to discuss, like being able to copy and paste, make notes, and such like that. But the free access, once again, we do support the community, the builders, the constituents, so they will always be able to look up their codes if need be, and all the extra tools that you will have to be able to communicate with those residents, those contractors, anyone else, consultants that you're working with will be able to work together collaboratively with you. So our digital codes, and I'm referring to the Premium Complete collection. So when we use the word premium, it doesn't signify a number of titles. Premium is just the licenses that have these features. So you could have premium singles like the California Building Code, or premium collection like the California Designer Collection that has those titles in it. Premium Complete has over 2,300 titles. We're probably going to cross 2,400 in the next few weeks here. So some of the features that are going to be included in this is you're going to have the ability to, as you see, making notes, organizing your notes. So if you're using this in a Teams environment or a collaborative environment, not Microsoft Teams, but if you're sharing this in your group with your co-workers, you're going to be able to view each other's notes. You're going to be able to categorize those. You're going to have access to code changes. Nice thing about this is they're going to have the most current version or cycle of the codes available to you, plus historical versions as well too. So no more having hundreds or maybe even thousands of books at this point. You're going to have that complete history of what has been codes in the past, and any amendments that California or supplements will be included without having to request those as well too. We do have, in addition to the I-codes and the California amended codes, we have many of the standards that are referenced in the I-codes. Probably over 70% of those standards are referenced. You would be able to view on the Digital Codes Premium platform. We do have all of the content coming directly from the standard development organizations, so you're going to be guaranteed that everything is going to be correct, accurate, up to date from the publishers of these. All right, some of the tools and features, and I will do a short demo showing using the software by going to the actual website. But probably the first thing everyone loves to be able to have access to is the ability to copy, paste, and print. So any of the code sections you'll see in the California or I-codes will have icons that will make it easy for you to highlight and copy and paste something into an email, into a Word document, whatever project folder you need. You are also able to print or save to PDF the code sections. Now you can't do the entire book or the entire chapter, but if there's a code section, any subsections underneath it, you can save that to your desktop in a format, PDF format, and edit it with your PDF editor, and be able to use that in whatever projects you're doing, or be able to send that via email as an attachment. You are also able to organize all of your content by having favorites, the ones that you access, titles that you access the most frequently, the ability to search for keyword terms that will include both content titles and graphics, such as diagrams and tables. And the advanced search capabilities will allow you to put in terms that will search for all, any, or none. You can do the proximity search, where you can find two words that occur within 50 words of each other in a code section to narrow down the results, and all sorts of other advanced search tools, along with AI Navigator, which we'll be showing you as well too. And as you see that, we mentioned the note sharing again. So any of those code sections that you create notes on, it would be available for the rest of your team to be able to view in case there may be an exception or a note that someone should be aware of if they ever do reference the code section. And Karyn and Cristina, I'll pause every once in a while here. I am not monitoring chat, so I'm not seeing any questions, but if anything good comes up, please feel free to interrupt me. As said, we're just going through some slides now, but I will pull up the actual software, do a quick walk through some of these features that we have. And the AI Navigator, this is something that we have placed high value on as far as making it work seamlessly and give correct, concise answers. So the nice thing about this is it's, as mentioned, it's only going to search through the titles that are in your ICC Digital Codes Premium library. So it's not going to go out on the internet and get maybe erroneous information. As mentioned, it's going to come directly from all the standard development organizations, their exact content. So everything is going to be accurate. And we've trained it to be able to search specific collections. For example, you can choose to have the California cycle for 2022. And when 2025 becomes effective, we're going to add that in there as well too. So we do take a lot of time to make sure you're getting great answers that are accurate, concise, and point you in the right direction for those answers. As mentioned, Premium Answers is another tool that we have. If you are an ICC member, you may have asked or called or submitted a form for an ICC expert to give an opinion on a code question that you have. We've been doing this for decades, so we have thousands of questions that are archived. And what we've done is attach those to certain sections in the iCodes. So if you are looking up in the iCode sections and you see a premium question that was asked, you would be able to see what questions other people have asked and how it was answered by the ICC experts. In addition, we got a additional service to this too. As mentioned, members are allowed to ask questions of the ICC to get those code interpretations, but there are some people, like in the architectural world or in the AEC market, that may not be members, of ICC, but we have this quick consult that allows you to ask questions through your Digital Codes Premium software and get those responses in a nice formatted PDF of any questions that you ask. Compliance calculators are also, I'll show those quickly when I do the demo, but we continue to add more of these. We get requests for different ones. There's structural ones, there's the plumbing ones we just added. So these are all included with any Digital Codes Premium license. We encourage you to, go ahead and check those out, use them if those will be useful for you. You are able to put in all your respective data and get an exact answer. If there's any errors, it can be flagged if it doesn't meet code. And then it produces that once again in a nice PDF format. So you can have that in your project folder as well too. And more of those will continue to be added to the Digital Codes Premium software. All right. Everyone asks about pricing, what it includes and everything. So once again, I will mention that the word premium doesn't signify any set of titles. It's just those premium features, and you can get a premium license for any book that you need. If you just needed a California building code, then that would be a license just for that. If you're going to have more than a few of those California codes that you want access to, then it's going to be less expensive to go ahead and get the California collection. We'll note that we do have all that content for all the titles except for the plumbing, mechanical, and electrical. For example, NFPA, IATMO has their own electronic deliveries, so they don't license it to other individuals, hoping that will change in the near future. But for this point, there is a designer collection that includes everything else. For people needing in print, yes, you can still get those title in the ICC store in print. However, most people do end up going with Premium Complete. So when you start adding multiple collections together, I know that everyone does like to have the commentaries. If you're going to have the commentaries, I know definitely you would be better off to get the Premium Complete rather than getting two different collections. So the Premium Complete is the collection that has almost 2,400 titles. For one license, you can see the pricing there annually. Now, you do not need to be an ICC member to purchase or to use, but there is a discount available for everyone if they are members. And then as we get into other discounts, as if you're looking to, supply your entire team, there's going to be DCP licenses that are available at price breaks, depending on the quantity. If you're a DCP subscriber and you want to purchase PDFs, if you're already a subscriber, those PDF versions will have a 10% discount on any of those single title PDFs that you will be interested in getting as well too. Also a discount if you are doing a 1 year as opposed to monthly, and a 3 year as opposed to 1 year. Most people do 3 years. The price saving is significant. And then, as mentioned, the ICC membership will decrease that price. And then we are actually putting some resources into our enterprise platform. If those of you that are familiar with the DCP licenses already, as you are aware, you can order any number of licenses, and those licenses can be configured to be either dedicated to a specific user, so they have dedicated access and their notes are private, or those DCP licenses you could put in a shared concurrent group, which allows one license to be shared among, we hear back about 4 users, a ratio of 1 to 4. However, we are getting feedback that people want to use the Digital Codes Premium access all the time. And if you are putting, for example, 1 license into a shared group, even though you can give that group name and have 4 people, 8 people, 10 people access it, only 1 at a time. So there are a lot of collisions with people are actively using it. If they can't get in at that time, they'd have to wait till someone left the group. So these resources we put into Enterprise probably would work best for organizations that are looking for 10 or more seats. These are dedicated seats, so no one would be locked out because someone else is using that spot. We're adding other features like admin features where you can have multiple administrators, not just one like with a concurrent group. And we're increasing some of those tools like the notes, for example. In the enterprise platform for Digital Codes Premium, anyone that creates a note would have the option to have it private to just themselves, or it can be shared in public so everyone on the enterprise platform can view that, which has come in handy. People have commented back. Sometimes they're doing research. They don't want their notes out there. Even people who are studying for exams are keeping private notes of different sections that they want to study as well too. So we're enhancing the features on this. If you have 10 or more users, it would be worthwhile to contact us so we can explore those solutions that would work best for your objectives in that. And then let me do this. Pause for a second. Karyn, if I missed anything, or Cristina, as I'm going to transfer my screen from the PowerPoint to the website.
You're doing great, Phil. There was a question that came in about the commentaries, and it was as though you saw it and you addressed it. So I will let you know if I see anything that you haven't addressed.
Excellent. All right. So what am I sharing now? Am I sharing my website now or no? I may have to go back.
Now you still sharing the
PowerPoint.
All right. Give me a second here, please. All right. How was that transition?
Website. You're all set. Great.
Okay. All right. So whenever you're going to access digital codes, you'll come to codes.iccsafe.org. I know through all our other ICC Safe websites, we have links to it, but if you're going to be a regular user, I suggest you bookmark this right here. This will bring you right to our homepage. For those of you that aren't familiar with digital codes yet, this is what I was mentioning, that as you can see, I'm not logged in. It doesn't read premium anywhere. So from here, you would be able to view any of the I-codes. We know California is based upon all the I-codes, but if you're looking for other information just within the I-code world, I-code titles, you'll be able to search through here and view those for free. And as you can see, yes, 24 is the most recent cycle, but we do go back to 2000. The other area that people can view for free without a license is going to be the state amended codes. As you can see here, we have added the 2025 California already, but you can go through, and obviously you're using the 2022 currently, but if you were to select any of these, and just showing you here, as you can see, it's got the supplements on there. So any of these versions, let me choose that one right there. You will have all the updates. So no more putting the colored papers or whatever you end up doing, or your outdated PDFs. Digital Codes Premium is going to make it easy for you to have everything accurate, up to date, and historically viewable. So as you can see, in the 2022 version, there was actually our 2022 cycle, there was actually 4 different versions. You will always have access to the current and the prior ones as well too. So I am still not logged in, but as you can see, any of your residents, contractors can all view this. As you start to walk through and you see these icons pop up here, like the copy text, those will be disabled because I don't have the premium license for the title. So what I'll do is now log in. And you are able to use, if you already have an ICC email login, this will be the same across your My ICC account as it will be logging into the Digital Codes Premium. So you don't need to have an extra one. So as we open it up here, you start to see now we got the premium logo up here. So all of these features are available to me. And since I'm here and pointing out there, if you ever actually get lost and you want to know what these icons mean or the text, there's that legend information right there. That's in the upper right. But just for example, here, we're able to see that anything in red would be an amendment that California made to their building code. That was a change from the ICC. So as you scroll through, you're able to navigate sections, jump right to them. And then as we're going through, now all of these icons on every code section is going to be available to use. So if I did want to copy and paste, all I got to do is copy it to the clipboard, put it in an email, Word document, whatever you're working with. Just explain these other icons that you'll see on every code section. This is going to be both in the California codes and in the I codes, the ability to create those notes. So just to show you here, as we see the entire code section there, you're able to create anything custom that you want noted. And it does have a strong text editor where you're able to do the strike throughs, you're able to do bullet points, any type of shading, even add files from your desktop, links to other websites. And then if you did want to actually copy the code, I know some people use the code and maybe there's an exception or something, but as I can see, I highlighted that, got this nice little tool here where I can insert that. And then what you can do is, mark that up and maybe there's a strike through or something else that you want to note about that particular code section. You can always categorize these notes into specific categories. So we use the word project tag. If you can always create new ones. If you're working, with a group in your department, anyone can create a new project tag that would be available for anyone else to choose it. So as you can see here, these are different project tags that I have, and you can select any one of those, and then it will be organized across your Digital Codes Premium subscription and in your group if you're sharing this with your organization. So for example here, just to well, actually, let me finish off these last icons and then I'll come back to the notes. So the third icon is the ability to print or save to PDF. As mentioned, you can't PDF the entire book or chapter, but any code section and subsection, the tables would be included. And the reason why you would use this instead of the copy and paste is because we will be able to keep the formatting. It will keep the title in there, the actual chapter came from, and the code section. And if there was a subsection underneath, it would have gave me the option to choose that as well too. So any code section and the subsections can be printed or saved to PDF. And as you can see, it comes with a nice footer there so people know it's coming from the authoritative source. You say if someone comes in your office, you can print it out, or as we mentioned, save it to your desktop, mark it up if need be as a PDF, and then you can use it as an attachment going back to whomever you need to have that conversation with. Speaking about having conversations with other people, maybe you are working with a contractor or a consultant and you're on the phone. This final icon here is the copy of the link. So as you can see, this is all web-based program, which has the advantage of you can access this and log in from your desktop, your mobile laptop, mobile phone, tablets. Anywhere you have an active browser, you would be able to access all of your content, all of your notes, and be able to use Digital Codes Premium. You saw the note there. I will mention, since I said that, there is a mobile app. You can download that to view codes offline. You can download titles to the app, and some people use it for that. If you're in remote areas, you would always have access. It just won't have all the tools like the AI navigator and this advanced search. But if you just need to have a copy of the code book, you can download and hold up to 15 titles in that app. But any other time, if you on your phone or whatever, just use the website. So you can share this link with whomever you want. And when they click on it, like if you were to text it to them or email, it literally could be on the same page. So it's going to take them right to this same chapter. They're going to be able to see exactly what you're looking at. Obviously, they're not going to be able to see your notes. And since they don't have a license, they're not going to be able to copy and paste or do any of those features. But there's the example that you could print it out for them and then send it back to them if you wanted to as well too. Let me finish up the notes here, and I'll pause to see if there's any questions on anything that we had talked about. Probably not a good example here. Let me go to one of my other titles where I know I have lots of notes. And actually, this is good because then I can show you some of the features, the tools, the insights that are in the iCode versions of this. All right, so here's when you're in a title, same thing, table of contents, the notes. This is going to show every note that was created in this title. And if you're in a group or on the enterprise platform, you'll be able to see everyone's notes in there that I've made it public. So if I were to click on it, it's a hyperlink, it will go right to there, and I'm able to view that note. So what you're also able to do is filter your notes with that project tag. So here's where that becomes powerful. So if I just wanted to see a specific notes from a specific project tag category, what it did is it collapsed that table of contents, and then anything I would click on would have the notes for that particular project tag category. Also powerful with this is, as you can see, I can use this same project tag category across multiple titles, and there's a notes admin page. So if I wanted to pull all the notes for the project tag CLBC, I could do that across multiple titles. It would assemble it into a PDF type format. So you could print it out, or we have made it usable so that those links are retained in there. So if you're using electronically, PDF, any of the links you click on would be available there. And it's a great way to organize all your notes if you're doing it by a project tag category. While I'm here, I'll also mention the insights, because many people do come back to the IRC, even though you're based upon the CRC, if you want to see some of the insights that are available in the regular iCodes. And what this is going to tell you is any of the code changes. It's going to give you background reports. Well, I'm here, I may as well mention that. There's that legend again. If you don't know what something is, it'll tell you, for example, the ES reports. ICC has Evaluation Services Division that evaluates products, and they're able to attach a selection of those reports that are available there that would relate to the code section. Other insights that are popular would be like the key changes. And then it's hard to see what it did, but basically it collapsed the table of contents. So anything there would just have those insights on it. As you see all the big blue type right here, this shows it was a change. I'm in 2021. So this was a change from 2018 to 2021 in this particular code section. You want to see who proposed that code be changed, the original proposal with all the proponents, cost, impact, scope. You can view that. We also, we talked about the commentaries. We have a separate commentary volumes that are in the Premium Complete, but for people that weren't familiar with it, you may see them occasionally here. Obviously, we can't attach every single commentary to every single code section because we have its own collection, but this just gives people an insight if they weren't familiar with it. And then the other two that go along with the code change details, if you want to see that code change being discussed before it's being voted on, you can view those. And then the key changes is also an insight that you're only going to see in the model codes, the iCodes, but this comes from our significant changes collection, which also is included in Digital Codes Premium Complete collection. And it goes in a little bit more detail about why the code or why it was changed. And it's almost always going to have diagrams, tables to explain that a little bit further. So those are some of the insights why people still find it valuable to go back and reference the iCodes. I'm going to take about 5 more minutes here. I'm going to go into AI Navigator, but let me pause, Karyn and Cristina, to see if there's any questions what we had covered.
You're good to go, Bill.
All right. So if you could see here, I am within a title. So same thing with the California codes. If I wanted to search just within a title, if I'm already in it, it's going to limit the search just there. So here's just an example. I'll show you this real quick. This is the 40 results for egress that are in the IRC. Make another quick note here, because when I point this out to people, they like knowing this, but it does sort it by relevance first. Sometimes people want to see it sequential in the order that it appears in the book, so you can change that around as well too. If you're doing a title search from like the home page, you could, look to see what titles come back with that. But probably the other popular one that was requested, and we did start developing this, and it's actually, I don't know, it's not really in beta anymore. We've had it out for quite some time, and it's working really effectively. But it will take your search term, and it does look through other titles, not just with that same title, but you can see any diagrams, graphics, pictures, drawings that may be relevant to what you were looking for when you search for egress within this one title. So as you can see, it did limit the search, just the IRC. But as I was mentioning before, you want to put in, all, any, or none, those words. Here's the near-term search. Do this. This is kind of cool if you haven't seen this before, but if I apply that, then it will look and see, it looks for those 2 terms within 50 words of the code section. So you're probably familiar with how all these different filters will work. You just apply it, and you could do a global search from like the main homepage. And then if you wanted to narrow it down and said, okay, I got 60,000 results, let me just limit it to the commentaries, or let me limit it to just the Californias collection. You can choose those. And then there's other filters where you can filter and just show by years. So that is really good to use within a title that you're there. But sometimes you're going to want to ask the AI Navigator questions. And once again, I did kind of talk about this a little bit already, but I'll use the example too. As you can see, I've used this before in my demos, but I've actually had conversations with jurisdictions, and they see the value of this. I mean, even people, most of the people here are probably code professionals and could answer this question without a problem. But I now here, the people who are just there administratively answering the phones could actually answer these easier code questions. So as you can see, I can ask a common language question. I don't have to have too much information or detail on it. As you can see here, if I wanted to choose the I codes and search there, I will take the time and use the California. So it's going to limit the AI Navigator's responses just to California codes. 22 is current, but when 25 comes out, we'll add that as an option to use. And as mentioned, we have taken a tremendous amount of time to train this. So it's not going to give you 15 paragraphs of an answer, which just requires you to do more research. It's going to come back fairly quickly. And I think you can agree, this is a pretty concise answer. And someone on the phone without, knowing too much could quote this. And as mentioned, with Digital Codes Premium, this is coming from content right from the source, the people who created this codes or standards. So they could quote the exact book, the chapter, section number, and even answer it in, once again, a common language question or common language answer. Even those of you that are familiar with this, maybe you did know it was definitely in the building code, maybe even knew what chapter, maybe even what section, but this is a way to quickly find that information. And as you can see, it gives a couple alternative answers or sections as well too, so you can find that information. And tying this all back together again, as you can see, this gives you the preview on this code section. Someone had made a note on it. So this would be great. You're answering phone calls and there is an exception at that address or area. You're going to be able to see that. So anyone referencing this will be able to see that information. If they're on the phone with that person, all these icons I was just telling you about, yeah, I can send you the link. Here's the exact code as it appears in the California Building Code. You need a copy of it? All right, let me save it. I'll send it over to you. So kind of cool. All these features come together in just that little example. And then I'm going to wrap it up here, but I could have done a search that would just like group. Actually, I have done this in the past. So I've searched, let me have those 3 words. Give me all the codes, not any of the words. I want to have all the words in a code section. And as I do this, I get 0 results, which isn't a mistake. That's the interesting part and great part about using AI is that, as you can see, the code section never uses the word sidewalk. So once again, I was able to ask a common language question, get a fairly concise answer back, and it's able to find things that I mean, even if I don't have the exact words. All right, we got about 15 minutes left. Let me pause there. Cristina, you update me where we're at and what you'd like me to go through, or pull up the PowerPoint again.
Bill, if you can go back to the iCodes page, I just want to take a pause. Hopefully you got a really good overview of the depth and breadth of Digital Codes Premium. I want to spend a little time talking about some services. And the reason behind this is with the release of the California codes, it really starts the process where local jurisdictions start to think about local legislation that they're adopting that amends it even further. And so I want us to spend a moment to talk about the service that ICC provides called custom services. They've been providing it for years. And Phil, as you scroll through the different states that have custom codes available, it's really just a good awareness of what our capability is. Our custom services is really designed to be able to update state or model international codes that reflect amendments that your municipality adopts at the jurisdiction level. Our custom services integrates those local amendments into all of the 15 ICC ICOs and creates transparent, easy to use custom ICodes that can be delivered in print, that can be delivered in PDF. And what Phil's showing you here is it's also available in Digital Codes Premium. Some of the most notable custom codes that we've created are, you'll find them for LA, but we work with a lot of local smaller jurisdictions like Goodyear, Arizona, Guadalupe, Texas, Hartford and Howard County, Maryland, Bellevue, Washington, Houston and Dallas both did the fire code. Some of them have an array of iCodes that they're amending, others just one particular title. The goal here is to use one unified source that has all of this information available to it. Thus, it's searchable. All your notes are in one location. Your opinions and commentaries are all in one location. And it then allows you to have access to, and we haven't talked about it today, but API access, which allows any jurisdiction who is using any software platform, potentially maybe your permitting software, where you want this content integrated into the platform. So when you have an integrated building code through custom services with amendments incorporated into it, you're reflecting exactly what that code is and should be for that community. It allows your constituents to see it that way. They don't have to jump between their municipal code, their building code, their local ordinances to try to get the right information. Now, the good news is, and I mentioned, it's available through not only print capability. So if you're still in need of a print resource, it's available that way. It's available through PDF. It's available through DCP. What we tend to outline on the DCP site is we use the color texting, and I'm not going to show you that today, but if you go to any particular page, actually I might have one right here. I'm going to try to, I think I added one right there. It happens to be one of our codes. It's going to have color coding associated to the pages so that you know what part of the text is part of the current code, what's coming, what's new will be in blue text. Red text represents the state code amendments, and fuchsia colors represent the local amendments. These typical projects really don't take that long to incorporate. We work directly with the jurisdiction who is interested in having this available to them. We also then supply a project plan for each one and a proposal for each one. So if you're like to inquire more about custom services and what that capability is and how it works with your building code and your municipal code, we're happy to have that conversation. So Phil, thank you for showing that. While we're doing that, if there's any questions, please feel free to add any questions in chat. The next couple of minutes, I want to talk a little bit about a recent press release that we put out on July 24th. We're really excited about this new relationship we have with a company called Archistar that allows us to leverage our iCode API into a solution that we think will have great impact in the state of California. What Archistar does is it's created a platform called eCheck Services. It's a seamless platform integrated utilizing the ICC codes that allows cities and jurisdictions to evaluate the building and zoning compliance more efficiently. The solution was really directly to address longstanding permitting delays, capacity constraints, and that contribute to the housing shortage that's happening nationwide. The collaboration that we've done with Archistar allowed us to do a 11-city pilot. Of those cities that we did the pilot, they included, and I want to be able to get this, like Vancouver, Austin, Los Angeles, where we created the eCheck solution that allows our AI building assessment review to reduce the permitting approval. So what I want to inform you about is that this relationship exists. ICC is a reseller of it. It's designed to accelerate really building efforts, not only in the wake of disaster, which what the state of California did, but just in general, where there's jurisdictions that have long wait times for permitting. It enables the submitters to quickly review, modify, and resubmit applications in a speed process. It digitally evaluates submissions based on the city's local codes and has, again, that connection directly to the API for iCodes. There are 2 links that I would like to provide. One of them is and I'm going to do that here for you, is the link to the newsletter. I'll provide that here. And in addition to that is to inform you that on September 9th, we're going to have a webinar that really talks specifically about how the solution can work for you. I encourage you to think about attending that webinar. And I'm going to go ahead and add the link right here where you can learn more about Archistar and specifically talk to our consultants, Wayne Childs, and the staff at Archistar on how this can actually be implemented for your jurisdiction. So thanks, Phil, for the couple of minutes, and back to you.
All right. I think we'll go back to Karyn, right?
Sounds right.
All right. Well, everyone is aware that, yeah, the new 25 codes start at the beginning of the year. We do have these links. I know obviously you can't click on your screen, but we are going to provide a follow-up email so you are able to review this. And as always, at the end, if you need information on Digital Codes Premium, please contact me. If you don't have my email address, any of those buttons you see on the Digital Codes Premium page for get more information eventually comes to me, and I would be happy to set up a webinar, so we can share screens and I can answer all the questions you have and look for the best solution that would meet all of your department's objectives.
And Phil, can I interject?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. So the slide a second ago just showed the meeting that you're in currently, but it was also another opportunity to attend. So if you would like to come again and hear it the second time around or share it with colleagues who weren't able to attend, please be aware that the last week of the month we're going to do this again. And then to the slide that you were just on, The next one, this talks a little bit about some of the printed changes to be aware of, and this is specifically to the model code. So for the 2024 I codes, not the California printed codes, we have incorporated the use of QR codes, and that is helpful. As Phil talked about, it takes you to the Digital Codes Premium. If you're not a subscriber, you won't have as many of the bells and whistles, but it'll give you that opportunity to have more information at your fingertips as far as the changes that occurred. And if you're not a fan of using QR codes, that's okay too. I just want to point out we have a website, qr.iccsafe.org. And then on the QR code itself, they all have a unique alphanumeric combination that you can then type into that website instead of using the QR code reader itself. The next slide, please. The other thing that does apply to the model codes as well as the California codes is the change in going from 2 columns to 1 column for the printed format. And that just, if you haven't figured caught on yet, our innovation team is really leaning into technology and recognizing that many of our users are looking at the codes in a variety of formats, from printed to a large monitor to maybe a pad or to a phone. And so as a result of this, the 1 column just makes it much more readable and formattable across those different methods. So heads up on that as well. And, you know, as a new digital codes user myself, I just want to point out I also am a fan of paper in some regards and was a PDF user until I came to work for ICC, and I wasn't even aware of our digital codes options. And so I'm glad that you all were able to attend today to hear some of these bells and whistles and the features that you get with the cloud-based. You'll not have to download when you have a new code update or search out that license. So I don't think I heard that noted, but I just want to reinforce that as well. If you're looking for something to do this fall, please make sure that you have your calendar marked for our annual conference headed to Cleveland, Ohio, October 19th through the 30th. Come for a little bit, come for a lot of it. It begins with our Region 1 networking on Sunday afternoon for Californians, Nevadans, and Hawaiians to get together. All of the different regions will have meetings. Goes into our annual business meeting, educational opportunities, and then the code committee hearings, the code hearings for the 2027 codes. Item 1 here, please register, book your lodging. Number 2, if you are a governmental member, confirm that your membership will be current on October 21st. So that is going to be important to assure that you'll be able to vote next year on our 2027 model codes. Next slide. So just a little highlight here, we've been talking about utilizing our current codes. The 2025 California codes are available right now on our Digital Codes Premium. But if you're engaged and excited about where we're headed in 2027 model code, you can participate this fall. That would be the committee action hearing number 2, and for the Group B codes. So it'll be a plethora of codes, but you know, the key ones to be aware of is that the residential code, the building code, general and structural provisions, as well as the existing building codes, those are all going to be discussed during these meetings in the fall, and that starts immediately following our annual conference in Cleveland, Ohio. So October 22nd through the 30th. You can also stream that if you're not able to be there in person, but if you want to go up to the mic and testify, give your words of support or contrast, then you can be there in person to do so. And you don't have to be a member to participate in that process. The web posting currently right now for comments to the committee action hearing number 1 code change proposals, that will go live on September 10th. So something to look forward to next month. And next slide.
All right, I'll make a quick comment there too. Another reason why people like to access iCodes, just as Karyn was mentioning here, we're going through this process. So if you are in the 24 cycle of the iCodes, you will see in those insights, the CDP icon, will show which codes are under proposal to be discussed and changed possibly, and you'll be able to view those proposals as well too, anticipating what may happen in 2027. But once they vote on it, then we'll complete it, as you saw in the history that we did from the 21 to 18 changes.
Excellent. Thank you, Phil. And this is just a graphic reinforcing what I spoke about a moment ago as far as our voting deadlines. If you, as a governmental organization, if you've already validated your voters last year, for example, you should be good to go. You don't have to revalidate every year, but if you've had changes where people have retired or they've moved on to another company, perhaps, then you'll just want to check and make sure that that's still up to date. And then, as noted before, you want to make sure that everyone's memberships are current on October 21st, so they're able to vote next year for the code change hearings. And next slide. And I see we're at 1 p.m., so feel free. It won't offend us if you have to drop off. You'll get this whole content after the fact. But if you're craving more ICC information, we do have a podcast. And this has a couple of recent episodes just noted here. We had an interview for our most recent episode with a builder out of Texas, Matt Reisinger, talking about collaborating on both sides of the desk, if you will, from our building safety professionals and our construction professionals. And then the previous one related to codes was Tales from Code Development Process. So if you're haven't been involved in the model codes, maybe I'll go to Cleveland, don't know what that looks like. You can hear from 3 people who have been involved in this process for many years, describing what their experience was like and how you might consider getting involved as well. And the next slide, I believe, will be the wrap up, but I'll just say thank you again from my behalf, and look forward to hearing from you all moving forward, and turn it back to Phil and Cristina for any final thoughts.
Thanks, Karyn. Yes, we are at the top of the hour. I'm going to stay on. If anyone has questions, we can go through chat and stuff, and I'll do any demos of the digital codes premium. I know it wasn't a long demo of the actual software, so I will stay on for another 10 or 15 minutes. Here are the contact emails for us. Once again, you will be getting a follow-up email with a link to the recording and some other information that would help you get exactly to where you need to get your questions answered. So I'd like to thank everyone for attending. Apologize for the delay on the start. I will end the recording now, but I will still hang on to answer any questions. Thank you, everyone.